What you're seeing here, folks, literally is sacrilege in Spankwagon's eyes. You all know we're big fans of beer. Well, this is the keg that we had on my birthday. Michelob Ultra, which, because my friends all like... Basically, they liked all the Newcastle and liked all the craft beer that we had and drank all my scotch. Josh, Steve, assholes. I have almost a full keg of Michelob Ultra here that I have to waste. It's been over a month since my birthday. For those of you that don't know much about keg beer, a keg like this, just kept cold, will generally keep beer at once tapped. Will keep beer for about 10 to 15 days. If it's kept cold and is pressurized with a nitrogen tank, it's good for about 30. So we finished Thanksgiving dinner. It's been about a month. Again, we're just wasting beer, basically. It sucks, but we have to do it. I gotta take this keg back. We'll probably do another keg bash here soon, but next time I'm buying a smaller keg because, well, my friends don't drink as much beer as, well, me and Mark do, and it's kind of sad, actually. Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
I'll give you $10 to take a sip of this beer. $10 to take a sip of this beer.
20.
No, because it's still beer. No, I wouldn't let you drink this. It smells like vinegar in here. It's this beer has gone skunk and then some. How many gallons of beer is this, Mark?
I have no clue.
Yeah, it's a ton.
I don't know what you ordered. I was out of town.
Yeah. I think I need something to hold the tap in with, though. I can sit here and pressurize all night, but...
You look like you will be sitting there pressurizing all night.
Yeah. Again, this is a big reason to buy a kegerator, kids, because then you don't buy too much beer and you always have it cold and it's pressurized as well. I think a kegerator is probably going to be on my project list for next year, especially seeing the iPad one that the guys at Yelp built. That was actually pretty cool. I'd like to do something like that. But for now, I'm just watching gallons and gallons of beer just go down the drain, and it's quite frankly making me sad. You know, it was really funny too when we hooked up the tap here right off the bat. Didn't even have it pumped, and as soon as I put my thumb on this thing, it just fired beer across the room. So this thing's been ready to go. So, all right, guys. Well, you're watching Spankwagon. Check something else out. I'm gonna sit here and fucking cry.
How you doing, everybody out there? I'm Joe DeFalco. I am the owner of Future Stars of Wrestling. Check us out, High Octane, every Friday night, 1 a.m. on MyLV TV.
What's up? Starting. Oh, you're starting. Shit, I'm sorry. Hey, we're here at the Gypsy Picnic, but unfortunately I don't see any gypsy. What's with that?
It's moving. That's why.
Rubble. Yeah, but it's pretty nice thing. Looks fun so far.
Yeah.
And we're gonna check out the food trailers, try and wait through one of these lines. And, get some food.
These lines are extremely long. And I'm hungry. And thirsty. Well, not this. Have we seen the prices so far for food? Food looks pretty decent, but prices for like waters, this is like $2. Yeah. Soda's like $2, and like a can of a tall boy Bud Light's like $6. So it's kind of pricey.
Yeah. All I know is I'm gonna have to be finding my way to the front of the line. Like, if I get too hungry, I'm just gonna like punch somebody out and take their spot.
Start a riot.
Yeah, start a riot. Because like in the confusion, you can just like walk up. Oh hey, there's all this fighting going on. Can I get something to eat? So.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to get some food here. I mean, there's some tacos, they got sandwiches, subs, hot dogs. A bunch of hot dog stands right here.
from what we've seen already, tacos. Tacos are in demand. Why tacos?
There was a line for tacos. It wasn't straight. Just went through all the people that were here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had to stay in line for a while.
Yeah. Anyways,
so, we're gonna go get some food. See you guys later.
What are they watching? What are they watching? Spankwagon.net. Eat bitches.
Welcome back to Spankwagon,
.net.
and I'm your host, Mark.
And I'm Chris Murphy.
And we're here to drink more beer, give you some reviews, and educate you on what you can serve the next time you want to get shit-faced.
Now, we here at Spankwagon are firm believers that if you're going to drink beer, drink good beer. There are guys out there who drink Coors Light and Michelob and Bud, and you know what, that's fine for people that are missing a couple of chromosomes or, you know, teeth. Yeah, never finished the 8th grade, things like that. But we know you guys are smarter than the average hillbilly. That's why you watch our show. So we try to bring you the best beer that we can find. And luckily for us, Vegas is a pretty good location for that.
Yeah, you can find anything you want when it comes to beer, wine, foods, and you name it, it's going to be out there. What we're going to focus in on tonight is a beer you may not have heard about. A beer that, again, to brag, actually, I don't know if you've had it, but I've had it on tap. But we did find it locally here at Total Wine and More in a bottle. So let me go ahead and bring out what I want to educate people on tonight.
Get the beer.
Joe, when and where did you start in the wrestling business?
I started probably in 1999. I hosted a show called The Wrestling Zone locally here on AM 1230 KLAV, and that lasted a few years. We got the chance to meet a whole bunch of people at the Nitro Grill, where we ended up doing the show after the All-Star Cafe. They did a lot of autograph sessions, so I had the opportunity to do live interviews with guys like Jeff Jarrett, Fit Finley come to mind, as well as pre-tape that we did with guys like Ric Flair, Bret Hart, Sting, you know, who's who, whoever was in WCW at the time. You know, WWE helped out in the beginning. I got The Rock on the very first show. After that, they weren't too excited about putting their guys on a local radio show, but that was when that's when everything started. So.
Okay.
Quiet on the set, huh? See?
Wow.
It's okay.
When did you realize you wanted to start your own wrestling federation?
Probably in about 2001. I was working for Rush, who had a school called the UWF behind the Rio, and I was involved with that for a while. Me and my partner, who actually does the co-hosting with us on the TV show, Jack Slammy, whatever you want to call him. We actually videotaped the shows, and I was in charge of booking the shows. Not all the way, you know, a guy like Rush, who owned the school, he had creative control. And a lot of times things would be tweaked and not being able to be done because of people paying dues. And that wasn't how I wanted to run a wrestling federation. It was more of a school doing shows, and we wanted to do something different, which we actually did. Probably in about 2002, we did something called Vegas Extreme, where we rented Rush's school for the night, and we brought in guys outside of Vegas, which he didn't do because he used all the school guys. So we brought in guys like Mike Knox, who became a WWF superstar, Derek Nykirk, who we used later on, Jimmy Snuka Jr., Deuce, he was local, but we used the best guys that we could think of using, Ace Steel, Bison Smith, guys who made a name for themselves throughout the world. And we brought them in and mixed them in with some of the Vegas guys, which was Solo Snuka, which was the Riggs brothers, and whatever talent we can use. Unfortunately, money was too tight. We couldn't charge for people to get in because wrestling was regulated. So all the money that was coming out of our pocket. It was really a television product, and it just cost too much to do, and we just couldn't continue. So, you know, took time off, didn't do the radio show anymore, and pretty much just watched wrestling and got really disgusted by it. And then fortunately they deregulated wrestling here in Vegas in probably 2008 maybe. And then I came up with the idea of Future Stars of Wrestling, which I wanted a title of a wrestling federation that had nothing to do with Vegas. I'm not using only Vegas guys, and if I don't use any Vegas guys, I don't care. I'm a wrestling fan. I want to have the best wrestling that I can have. So if I have to go to Phoenix, Arizona, or NorCal, or SoCal like I do now, or Dallas, Texas, or Virginia, where we get some of our guys, then that's what we're going to do. But when people turn on a show called Future Stars of Wrestling, they expect to see some good up-and-coming talent, and that's what we try to provide everybody. And I believe we have. Guys like the Young Bucks, now they're Generation Me, they worked a swap meet on our very first show in May 2009. And we knew those guys were going to make it someday, and unfortunately for us, it was a little quicker than we would have wished. You know, we were supposed to actually have them in our January event, but they were already signed, and there was nothing we could do. But it's just go out and finding the best talent we can do.
Okay. You know, you mentioned the Vegas aspect and not making it a Vegas wrestling show. Vegas is not known for a strong long-term support to anything. Why take the risk of pro wrestling in Vegas?
Because I live here, and I'm not going to take the risk and go to California and do it. I know Vegas, and I think the reason people didn't support wrestling in Vegas in the past was because bottom line was the BWF was the shits. And, you know, no offense to anybody who was involved with it. They, you know, I give great credit to a guy like Buffalo Jim. A lot of people didn't really care for him, and I may not have cared for him personally, but he took a risk and put up a lot of money to run shows. Unfortunately, he got some great support. I went to his first show at the Orleans where there was almost 1,000 people in there, and the show was garbage. So what happened? They ran another show. Well, now there was half the crowd, and by the time the fourth show was on, there wasn't 100 people there anymore. But that was his fault. And wrestling was successful, and it was successful before that with the NWC at the Silver Nugget many years ago. And it was successful if the right people would have been in charge at the right time. And unfortunately, we had to watch Vegas wrestling die a very slow death. And the death knell was a show at the beach where Buffalo Jim was paid probably about $9,000, if I remember correctly. And he ran a show with Viscera, King Mabel, whatever you want to call him, a bunch of students. And they sold $25 tickets, and they sold 13 tickets. And the beach paid all the money. Buffalo Jim made all the money. And nobody decided to do a wrestling show again till we decided to, because I don't count any wrestling show that is free admission show up on Friday night. As much as I was involved with the UWF running it, it was a student showcase, and nobody paid $1 to see anybody wrestle. So we were the first first group in probably 8 years that decided to step up to the plate, put our money where our mouth was. I think I could put on a good show. We did a show May 2009 at the Rancho Swap Meet, and we had well over 200 people there on my marketing, which was printing up a bunch of flyers, going to the Fiesta, Sam's Town, any place that was hosting WWE pay-per-views, and I put a lot of flyers on a lot of poles. And we had about 231 people, to be exact, that were there watching the show. And because of the city, we had to not be able to do shows there anymore, and we took some time off, and we were fortunate enough to get probably the best wrestling facility in Vegas, which is the Silver Nugget, because it is a great spot for wrestling.
Well, you guys want to wait in line for a long time?
Yeah.
Looks like the main attraction, actually.
Yeah. Not only do they love food, they love standing in line apparently. So.
Yeah. And they're drinking beer too. That's just good.
Oh, don't say damn thing about beer right now.
Why?
Shithead.
Last night was not.
Oh, you drank too, huh?
No, I'm talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's your own damn fault.
Yeah, I know. Wages of sin and all that.
All right, time to pan around. See you guys later. Yes, I love Skylines. By the way, what park are we in? Okay. Well, these are the lines
mostly lines for food. People are just standing around or are in line because they're hungry.
Hey, look over there. More lines for food.
Yeah, more. And I'm starving.
Okay, this entire line is for Torchies.
What? Which one? That one there?
Yeah, okay. Basically, it goes there, then it bends around, and then actually goes all the way to goes parallel to this line, and then goes back here, and I think this might be Torchies is really popular.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, it really is an Austin institution.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll have to change that.
Never go to.
Sometime today, maybe.
Maybe if we ever go to El Paso, we should try Chico's.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're in line for the hot dogs. So
Yeah.
It's not as long. It's like a fraction of that line.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we just went to Mad Bites Dog and we got our lunch. Right here we have Rob's, which is the classic. It's just...
No, that's actually the hot link, but they ran out of onions.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah. So you got the one that actually
Has onions and tomatoes.
And me too.
Yeah, you can actually kind of see it here. It's kind of like this pinkish stuff. That's the chipotle mayo. And according to him, it's very spicy.
Yeah, it's not very spicy, but it has a little kick to it.
Yeah, you went with the old school there yourself.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and they also had this jalapeno relish. That would have been awesome, but apparently they just ran out.
Yeah. So let me have mine there.
So, of course.
And then go ahead and give yours a try. Let's see.
All right, cool.
So while he's enjoying his, you try yours. And
All right. Took a
well,
bite.
yeah, but
I'm going to take another bite.
so while he's chewing, so what do you think of yours?
I definitely like the chipotle, or the sriracha mayo. It's not chipotle. I was wrong about that. Yeah, it's got like just the right kick, and then like the vegetables on there kind of give it like a strong base, and then the meat is pretty good. And it's overall just like very tasty. But like everything else here, like it kind of smells like a fairground. Like you can tell none of this stuff is healthy for you, but it's just so delicious. So.
I say, what about yours there, Mattress?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at something else.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yes. It's really delicious, extremely delicious actually, and has that little kick to it, and it's kind of warm. I wish I had something to drink right now, but it's still good. It probably won't take me more than 5 minutes to eat this whole thing. I'm hungry.
For mine. I think you meant it for mine. I'm about to down this thing, so.
All right, so let's go eat.
Yep.
Hi, Spanksters. We're still wasting beer.
Day 3.
We're probably about,
Actually, we're getting close to being done.
we're a little more than half. So,
Yeah.
by the way, if you haven't caught the new show, Brewmasters on Discovery Channel yet,
Good
check
show.
it out. Yeah.
Good show.
Very good show. It's the Doghead Fish Brewery, those guys out of Delaware. Definitely on the Spankwagon TiVo list, I'll tell you that right now. So, keep pumping, bitch. You're watching Spankwagon.net. Waste, bitches.
I told you so.
Shut up, nobody asked you.
No one has to. It's
No.
free advice.
Exactly, you're more than willing to give it.
With all of that said, what draws Joe DeFalco to pro wrestling?
Well, it started probably when I was a little boy. I used to watch the old WWF Saturdays at midnight in New York. I had a grandmother, or actually my great-grandmother. I used to stay at her house occasionally on weekends. And she was Spanish, and we didn't communicate that well to understand each other, but you know, she was great, and she used to love watching the Lucha Libre show that was based out of the Olympic Auditorium in probably 1974, 1975, around there. I was probably about 9 or 10. And I got to see guys like Chavo Guerrero, which was the senior at the time. And at the time, he was just Chavo Guerrero. And guys like Terry Funk, and I remember Johnny Rods was there under a different name, Java Rook. And I was really enthralled by the whole thing. Even Jimmy Lennon, the ring announcer, I remember, you know, to this day. And he has a son who actually is a ring announcer also. But, you know, I've been a fan, you know, since I was 7, 8 years old. I probably drifted away. I remember I was a big fan of Bruno Sammartino, used to go to the Nassau Coliseum. Then Bob Backlund, no offense to Bob Backlund, I thought he was funny later on. But then I think about WrestleMania 2 or 3, probably 3. I kind of knew what happened to 2, didn't really pay attention to 1. But from WrestleMania 3 on, I was pretty much, you know, hooked by it. You know, dug the storylines. I dug everything that was about professional wrestling. And, you know, it was always something that I thought I can do. And, you know, then as time progressed, I think the WWE has become very, very weak. It's not wrestling anymore. Matches are decided in 2 or 3 minutes, and before the matches decided the feud, now the matches start the feud, and it doesn't really go anywhere. And the one thing we try to bring in Future Stars of Wrestling is we've gotten characters that don't live here, that people have never seen or heard of before. For example, Cyanide and Vintage Dragon, who've been our tag team champions twice. You know, here's 2 Latin guys. The reason we brought them in was, first show, Rancho Swap Meet. We did a little advertising in the newspaper. We put it in the Spanish newspaper. We figured we would draw a strong Mexican crowd because, as many people said, you know, a lot of people don't support wrestling in Vegas. So we thought that the Mexican community would. So we made sure we put some Latin wrestlers on the show, expecting it to take off and all the Latins would be there. And unfortunately, we didn't get any, but thank God we got a lot of Americans who seemed to be supportive of the wrestling. And now we had these 2 Mexican wrestlers who have gotten over huge, and Vintage Dragon is one of the most popular wrestlers here in Vegas. And he's in competition with guys like Funny Bone, who come from Vegas and has been around for 10 years, and everybody knows him and everybody loves Funny Bone. But just as many people love Vintage Dragon because we're bringing in some great talent and the crowd gets behind him.
2009, you put together FSW, probably well before that. So far from that initial let's do this to today, what has been the scariest part about everything you've done in FSW?
The scariest part? Possibly knowing that if we make money on this, it's going to take a while. And when you're in a position in a job where you're not making huge money, and the home equity line of credit continues to go up because that's how you're paying to get things done. And as you are here in our wrestling school, the FSW arena, training facility, we've sunk a lot of money into this. This wasn't something we initially wanted to do. We just wanted to run shows, you know, but because of the fact that Michael Modest, a man who trained the great Khali, John Morrison, Spike Dudley, Crash Holly, Alyssa Flash, Bison Smith, you know, the list goes on, decided to move to Vegas. We felt it was necessary to open up a training facility because we would run shows and people would say, hey, do you got a school? Hey, we want to train. And I would send them off to VCW, which was Legacy, who we've known well, and he's worked for us on many an occasion. But bottom line was they didn't have the top talent that have been around the world to train people to wrestle. So now not only am I sending them to somewhere that they're not probably getting the best training that they could possibly get, now I'm giving away money. We're not making money, and now I'm handing you money with all the money that we've sunk into it. Somebody wants to pay us some money to train, and we're giving them to somebody who had to do absolutely nothing to get it. And, you know, we felt that, you know, running a show, you know, we had to sink in thousands of dollars initially. Well, we have to now wait 6 weeks to try to bring some of that money back and hope we make money on a show. In a school setting, we have 24/7, 30 days in a month. We have the potential for a new student to come in and help cover the bills. And if we cover the bills here, we have a TV show that we have every Friday night at 1 a.m., MyLV TV, high octane. You know, the ratings are pretty good, I guess, a 0.6 on a 1 a.m. show, which is what TNA was doing on a Monday night, and that was on cable, and we're on broadcast TV. You know, they claim we're in 4,400 homes. I don't know if I buy those Nielsen ratings too much, because if we did, then I think we'd get a lot more people at our show. So, you know, those numbers are skewed, but fortunately, out of the 400 Nielsen people in Las Vegas that are based on over 1.5 million people, I guess some of those people like wrestling. But I'll take it where I can get it. You know, hopefully it helps us get some more sponsors. hopefully it gets us more people interested in our product. And that's what I think is the biggest problem, that we can draw 300-400 people based on the fact that maybe 10 or 20% of the wrestling fans in Las Vegas probably know about Future Stars of Wrestling. Now, 10 years ago, most of the people would have known, because when we run commercials on Raw and SmackDown, there was no such thing as TiVos and DVRs. Now I have people tell me, oh, I watched SmackDown, I didn't see your commercial, but I TiVo'd it. So people fast forward through the stuff. People don't watch the way they used to. So our tough point is getting people to know about our show.
Now, one of the cool things we found at Total Wine & More, when we bought this beer, it wasn't cold. It was sitting on a shelf. And Total Wine & More will let you actually buy them in individuals. They have a little chiller station up front. This thing spent about 5 minutes in the chiller and is now ice cold.
Yes. What this beer is called is Prankster. That's Pranqster. It's a Belgian-style golden ale. It's actually brewed by the North Coast Brewing Company.
Where are they at?
I want to say, well, this says Fort Bragg, California.
Okay, so they're out of California.
So it's relatively close. Alcohol by volume, or ABV, is 7.6%.
So it's got a little kick to it.
Pretty much so. I got turned on to this. I was at the Freaking Frog one night and just said, hey, what's good? Not Jack, but Adam, I believe his name is.
Adam.
Said, oh, you should try this. They had it on tap and it was fantastic. Prankster, being a Belgian ale, is kind of along the same lines as Chimay, or some of the other beers or ales you've seen us drink in past tasting episodes.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the one where we had everybody here.
Yeah, we had a couple of different golden Belgians. In fact, up in the Hall of Fame, of course, was our favorite of that night.
That was voted unanimous.
Yeah, this is the Adrian Brouwer Dark Gold Ale. It's the same as this guy right here. It's a Dark Gold Belgian Ale. So we'll see how it stacks up against, I don't want to say a bigger cousin, but it's definitely going to stack up, how it stacks up against by a prettier cousin. So, yeah. So what we've got here is we've got the pretty cousin who's probably a cheerleader, and this is a cute cousin who might be a flag girl, and we'll see if she can suck dick well. So, does that sound about right?
Sounds about right, actually. I will say this right here, right now. These, and
this is my fault. This is my fault.
This is the wrong type of glassware for a Belgian ale. You should be using what a goblet or a sniffer, if you want, for these kind of drinks. We'll go with it because it all goes down the same, but style points, serving points, you're going to want to serve it with something a little nicer.
And you know, with a lot of beer, like with wine, aeration is a big deal. Oxygen helps, you know, the carbonation really break up and brings some of the deeper flavors out of the beer. So, you know, the Sam Adams folks and their special glasses, that's not just marketing, guys. That's an actual well-designed glass for that. So, all right, so just a soft pour. We can see here.
Now this is a little different for me because I'm not used to getting such a head off of the beer, even on a soft pour. I don't know if I've mispoured it or it's a characteristic of being in the bottle.
It is pretty light, but it's not exactly see-through, so there's a little. It's pasteurized, obviously, but it's got a little murk to it. But that's never really a bad thing.
That's a little more how you do want to pour it.
So I get the flow.
Here, I'll try it.
Awesome. All right, so again, it's a good beer. The carbonation looks good.
Oh, that carbonation's held up very well in a bottle. So I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it is bottled in California. We're in Nevada. So yeah, it doesn't have to sit for as long and basically fizzle out.
Kind of a good uniform color too. You know, a lot of times with the dark ale or with the darker Belgians, you get a little darker at the bottom and it progresses up again. That's due to aeration in the head. But no, this is good uniform color the whole way through.
Yep, nice and gold. Again, the foam and the texture looks great. Yep. Cannot wait to taste the texture.
All right. So next is the smell, of course. It's good. It's a little honeyish. Again, with the Belgian, I'm not a huge fan of Belgian beer. I know Mark is. Me, not so much, but it's got a good smell to it. It's definitely deep. And if we were drinking out of the appropriate glass, it'd probably be a little easier to contain that. But.
Yeah. One nice thing about this particular, and I'll admit, this is where I go into sort of redneck mode. I will eat a cheeseburger while drinking this. It complements, the sweetness complements the different cheese, the different food, and just it doesn't detract and it doesn't overpower.
That's one thing about the beer we drink around Spankwagon. You guys have to remember. Yes, we are all about different pairings of, you know, ooh, it's the microphone and the camera and the TV. No, we're about the different pairings. We do like different kinds of food, you know, certain cheese, crackers, whatnot like that. But the big qualification for us for beer is you have to be able to eat it, drink it with dinner.
Yeah. Beer is something you want to drink. Beer is not something that you're drinking just to get hammered.
Yeah.
Beer is something you want to taste, you want to enjoy.
And you want to be able to eat it with, or drink it with anything you eat.
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh, like wine pairings. I know people who refuse to eat fish with a red wine. It's like, okay, I understand the flavor combinations, but beer's different.
Wine, yeah, well, to that point, wine is a lot different because you do want to get those flavor combinations. You're dealing with grapes, and different colors of grapes produce different levels of acidity, flavor.
Again, beer does the same thing.
Yes,
you know,
but wine does it in a more
pretentious manner.
Pretentious? No, wine does it while punching you in the groin. Beer does it while just giving you that little too hard pat on the back.
Well, I do enjoy beer. Okay, so the foam on this has gone down a little bit.
Oh yes. So the bouquet was good. You smelled the honey.
The bouquet, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It smelled good. Little honey-ish in there. The color's good. Last up.
Okay.
What?
I don't know.
I'm still hungry. The hot dog was good, but I'm still freaking hungry.
It's an appetizer.
Yeah, it was an appetizer.
You know, it's sad when hot dogs are an appetizer.
Those are decent sized hot dogs.
Yeah, I know. That was like the one thing
they weren't ballpark franks.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. No problem.
You don't want this. Save it.
We just got free beer. Woo.
Free cheap beer. Really cheap beer. Watered down beer.
Hey.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the line right there. It's sold out.
Sold out?
Yeah, they'll be sold out right there.
Actually, it goes down pretty smooth.
Does it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's like
What they say about go ahead.
the penultimate cheap, like Texas beer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go figure.
It's actually called the champagne of ship beers.
I thought that was. They copied off Miller High Life. I should have brought an oil can out here.
No, they wouldn't let you bring it in.
That's true. That's true.
So. But otherwise, okay?
Which is a little bit colder, but
Yeah.
that's alright. That's free.
It's beer.
That's beer.
What are they watching?
Huh?
What are they watching?
Spankwagon.net. Drink bitches.
.net.
Barely?
Wow.
I got you. Can you get my beers?
Yeah. Thank you.
No, somebody spilled them.
Do what?
He's being dumb.
Could have done a better job. Plethora.
Whoa.
Wow.
I just saw that. I was like, it's a stink bug. There you go. Original. There you go. It's also original. I think all these are.
So everyone should be ordering original right now.
Yeah. Bunch of butlers are about to make it right now. Like these.
These are them, I think.
Yeah, these are them. Huh?
These are them.
Yeah, yeah. These are the butlers that they're making.